The entire team at the Emsolation podcast acknowledges the traditional custodians and cultures of the lands and seas on which we live and work. We pay our respects to all First Nations peoples, elders and ancestors. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded and stand in solidarity towards a shared future. I personally want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I record this podcast every week, the Wurundjeri people. I recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place I call home. Always was, always will be.
Whose dick is swinging where and what are they hitting? And who's swinging it and who's holding it?
And Michael Lucas.
I think of a very fat white man being covered in animal fat for some sort of roasting procedure.
This is Emsolation.
And if we are both ever nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars and then I win, you will stand in the audience and scream, He doesn't have children!
Hello and welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em Russiano. I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen, a proud and blessed neurodiverse magic brain and podcaster. And together with my best friend since I was 11, screenwriter and podcaster, Mr. Michael Lucas, I bring you this very offering every Thursday, soon to be coming to you twice a week, which is exciting. How are you? As you can hear, I'm trying so hard. I'm still, Kavina, she's not letting go. She's become obsessed with me. She won't leave me alone. I'm testing negative, that's all gone. But the after effects, the lingering, I still can't breathe properly. And I've been using nasal spray. And I was at my pharmacist. Here's a very important PSA for you. I was at my pharmacist and I said, I need more nasal spray. And he was like, you're supposed to only use that for 3 days in a row and then you need to have 3 days off. Or you get mucus bounce back. What the fuck is mucus bounce back? That sounds horrendous. And basically, if you use nasal spray too much, you can get all the snot back. It just comes back down with a vengeance. I'm like, oh my God, I've flat out been snorting this stuff like cocaine. It is always with me. I'm always sniffing it. So I'm going to have to wean myself off that, which is why today I'm not sounding great because she hasn't had her bloody rhino caught up her snozzer. Anyway, what I want to just say is my house is so disgusting and messy. I keep thinking about if I were to go missing in the next few days and the police turned up to my house, they would also probably feel the need to investigate some kind of robbery because it looks like it has been ransacked by angry youths. Well, actually, now I come to think of it, it has been ransacked by angry youths. My husband included there. It's not good. And I walk around from room to room. I don't even have a clean room I can hide in. Sometimes I just shuffle all the crap into one area of the house and then I stand and look at the clean spot and just think, I'm on top of my life. And I went round to my friend Missy Higgins's house. I'll just pick that name up. Yes, I know. I mean, the most unlikely friendships of all time that you can think of, even more than Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Missy Higgins and I are good friends because she just lives around the corner. And I went round to her house. We have kids the same age. And Elio and Luna were playing and I walked in the door and she did the classic, I've just tried to clean up because the house was a mess and I'm sorry, there's still crap everywhere. And I said to her, it really makes me feel better that your house is a tiny bit messy. And by the way, her house is beautiful and it wasn't that messy, but there was some mess. And as soon as I saw the mess, before she even apologised for it, I instantly felt a bit better about the state of my house. And both of us just laughed at how we kill ourselves to clean when someone's coming over and we probably are making that person feel worse about their life by doing the cleaning. And we're all in this vicious cycle. But my mum used to do it. If I woke up to aggressive sweeping on a Saturday morning, I knew that there was people coming over for dinner that night and I knew my whole day was gone to cleaning. And then the people would arrive and the house would look like a fucking display home. I'd be panting in the corner from all the vacuuming I'd been made to do. And then I would hear my fucking mother say, oh God, sorry, the house is a mess. And I would be like, are you, I missed little acts for this. And if you just announce it, I've been cleaning, I polished spoons and you've told them the house. And I didn't understand that was a weird transactional thing that happens between adults that I now do. That I have been cleaning all day. I'm going to start now when we have people over, they're going to open the door and I'm going to say, bitches, this house is never looked this clean. It's pristine. I've done it all for you. You better appreciate it. That's what I need to start doing. Anyway, so for those of you who have had COVID, and all of my family have had it except Scott, of course. Scott hasn't had COVID. Every other person but Scott, my husband, of course. I mean, I don't even, like, fucking patriarchy. I don't know how. Like, when I get in my car with him, my car recognises his phone first. That's my fucking car. The patriarchy have somehow managed to make sure that if there is a man name, because my phone's called Beyonce, his phone is called Scott. My phone's called Beyonce because when I was on The Masked Singer, they made us change all our phone names because people were figuring out who the other contestants were. So I thought I'd put Beyonce on my phone to freak everyone out because they might think that Beyonce's there. Definitely that would be a possibility. So anyway, when I get into my car with Scott, it always recognises his phone first because of the patriarchy. And somehow the patriarchy is involved in the straight white male in my house not having been sick. Elio hasn't had it yet either. Touch wood. You notice I didn't touch wood about Scott. I better touch wood. Because he's a straight white male, as far as we know. Maybe he's not. Well, we'll find out. Anyway, so everyone's had COVID. And the boys are laughing. Ben and Zeke are laughing right now because I said I have nothing to say in the intro. I'm just going to throw to the main chat. So we've all had COVID, except Scott and Elio, patriarchy. My house, and I don't know how to get on top of it. I don't have the energy. Like, normally I can just power through. I can't even power through. I don't have the reserve tanks. So I don't know how to get on top of it. I'm literally going to have to try and get a team in, like the teams they hire after a major crime has been committed. I need the forensic people to come in and do that to my house. I have to, just say, and they're going to call them. I'm going to go, look, I need you to come. Well, what's the crime? I'm just going to say, I'm not going to say what I was just about to say. Fuck. Self-editing. The crime is that, no, again, I can't say that joke. Jesus. Anyway, there will have been no crime. The crime is only that I've been in bed for 2 weeks with COVID, and so has everyone else, except because the patriarchy are involved and the men in my family have not. So, like, what do I do? How do I get this house clean? So just a shout out to all of you who have had COVID and now have the house in post-COVID chaos, because I am with you in the trenches. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's so overwhelming. Anyway, that was what I wanted to say in the intro. Coming up, you're going to hear Michael and I discuss my newest obsession on Netflix, Heartstopper. It is just the most glorious thing. I'm smiling now even thinking about it. I just loved it so much. You're going to hear why. We talk about Elon Musk buying Twitter, of course. There's an election update. Barbara Streisand turned 80. My dad got an iPhone. Everything is kind of mishmashed in there. It was a bit chaotic. I'm on a lot of medication at the moment, as this podcast is going to show, or maybe you can't tell the difference. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, you're in for a wild ride as always. Thank you for being here. And I'm just going to say it now before, who else, what I'm going to blame on the patriarchy. I don't know what could be next. All right, here we go. Play the music.
M. Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Michael Lucas, welcome. We're both in studio. I'm out of bed and right off the bat, I just want to say I've spent the weekend watching a life-changing show. I kept annoying you to watch it. Heartstopper on Netflix. We're going to go straight into it.
She is glowing. It's either that or the endo.
Both.
Yeah.
I'm on endo because I have spinal injury, just so everyone knows. Not just a recreational hobby. Thank you. Your resets have been really bad lately.
Sorry.
Just casually dropping she's on endo. So Heartstopper is a show that's dropped on Netflix. It dropped on Friday, and it's based on Alice Oseman's graphic kind of webcomic novel, and they also wrote the script for the series. It's a queer teen rom-com. And, oh my God.
You're in love. You've been transported back.
I've cried in every episode, and not because it's sad, because it's a YA, obviously it's a YA kind of series, and the leads are 15, and I'm a 43-year-old mother of 3, but it's...
You feel so connected to them?
I feel so connected to them.
Transported back.
And Charlie Spring is the main character, openly gay kind of nerd, and he forms a friendship with the hot rugby captain, Nick, at their all-boys high school. Charlie has a mate, Tao, who's overly protective film nerd, so obviously straight away you and I gravitate
so many
towards
connections.
him. Elle, trans female student who was at the all-boys school but now she's transitioned. She's at the all-girls school, played by trans actress Yasmin Finney, who is fierce on Instagram. You've got to go check out Yasmin Finney on Instagram. She is amazing. And it's just the blossoming of that friendship.
If it isn't Charlie Spring, Happy New Year. You're over there. Next to Nicholas Nelson.
Hi. Nick Nelson. He is the star player on the rugby team. We are a trio of borderline outcasts.
He's different. Hey.
It's literally just another silly crush.
It's not a crush. Hi. 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 Hi.
Come on, dream guy.
I don't know, just someone I can have a laugh with.
He's the straightest person I have ever seen.
Thank you.
And it's a queer show starring queer people, made by queer people, for queer people, and...
Also with little-known talent Olivia Colman.
Look at you, beautiful people. Thank you so much.
Just
Olivia
dropping on in
Colman.
as one of the mums.
And a very minor role, you know, very sweet. And there's a moment you haven't got to yet, and playing the rugby captain's mum. And there's a moment where they have a conversation.
I know, yeah, everyone tweets about that one.
Yeah, and it's the most beautiful thing. But I love that she agreed to do this because
me too.
This show is a tiny little unknown thing.
Exactly. And I just love the thought of Oscar-winning, Emmy-nominated Queen Elizabeth Olivia Colman going, oh, bloody do it. That's how I imagine the negotiation
Oh my God,
was.
is Olivia Colman in the room? Is she here?
I have watched a lot of Olivia Colman.
Oh, so why not? Why wouldn't you? So I just want to say before we even get into the meat of it that if you have a teenage child, you don't have to watch it with them, but I wish this show was around when I was in high school.
Or if you were a teenage child, which I'm presuming you were.
No, I mean, I think especially
Yes.
it's great for teens to watch with their parents because it just normalises all the things we've always known. And if this show were a heterosexual, cis kind of, it would be, everyone would be like, oh, this is boring. But for me, it's so fresh because it's so normalising what is actually happening in the lives of teenagers nowadays that I wish was happening for people like you in high school.
Yes.
So let's get to that. And also I want to let you, there's little animated bits, so like just before their hands touch, electricity sparks in animation and...
A lot of animated leaves. And
The
you know what that
leaves.
made me think of? Pocahontas. Because every time in Pocahontas they kissed, these autumn leaves would swirl around them and it was just like that and I appreciated
Well, it
it.
made me think of Frozen 2 because
Yes.
there is a character called Gale who is the wind and she makes the leaves swirl around every time Elsa wants to go off, every time the voice calls Elsa. So both of us, perfect, on brand.
I'm only 3 episodes in, but I do hope to see a nice water crystal horse before it ends.
But the animation just adds to the whole, like, it's just the most loveliest, beautiful, charming thing I've watched in such a long time. And all the main cast are going to become massive stars. But I kept thinking of you. So I want to know, how has it made, have you cried? How has it made you feel about your high school experience?
Well, it's now the second, in the space of 1 year, the second gay teen YA romance that I've been obsessed with in a very short space of time after Young Royals.
It's a bit different to Young Royals, though. It's got more heart than Young Royals.
Yeah, it's a lot more affectionate and
Yeah.
Young Royals was sort of chilly and there was always the threat of,
Yeah.
whereas this is super, super warm. Although it does surprise me how much they do cover homophobia in there. It's still a bit like, sometimes I tell myself, oh, kids these days, it's
No,
just
it's
cool to be
still
gay.
around. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, it is pretty... obviously, I can't help but think that is clearly not the teenage years that I had.
But does it make you grieve for it? You wish you did have that?
Look, I actually think that my lack of action in teenage years wasn't necessarily due to preference. There was a lot of things, just overwhelming nerdiness fed into it a lot. So I can't imagine that I would have been having amazing romances, even if I was in an accepting time where I understood my sexuality. But yeah, to a certain extent, yeah.
Michael Lucas spent our lunchtimes reading The Age in the library.
That's right. Why? What's wrong with it?
So
I now make a television show about journalists, so it all paid off in the end. But yeah, I still, obviously, it was somewhat more traumatic to then start dating women in my 20s and then catastrophically change course. Not catastrophically. But there's a yearning that's attached to it.
that's what I assume.
Yes.
I feel the same way. I don't know why. I feel a yearning of that. I don't know. It's really emotionally affected me, but also my kids, all their friends, the way they address bisexuality is I've never seen it done like this. And the way that one of the characters realises they're bisexual is by seeing Keira Knightley in Pirates of the Caribbean. And I laugh so much at that. I thought of you again. And the way it all unfolds and that this character's like, oh, it's okay to be both. I don't have to be one or the other. And so many of my kids' friends are both.
And that's one of the biggest changes since we were teens, in that I just didn't even see... I remember it being said constantly that bisexuality is just a phase.
A bridge, a
yeah,
phase.
Yeah, it didn't earn
I've
its
said
right.
it on stage as jokes.
And I would have chilled
bisexual
out.
bridge.
So, exactly. I would have chilled out so much if I knew that I was able to stay in that space rather than, worry about if I did anything with a guy, then it would confirm that I'm gay and there was no way that I could go back and forth or anything like that.
Yeah.
The game has changed, thank
The game
God.
has changed. And this character felt the same way, that if they did anything with their gender, that was it, And there was a lot of research, am I gay, that this character is doing quizzes, BuzzFeed things.
Oh, we've all done them.
Yeah, and then when this character sees, it's not an either or. You just see the absolute relief.
Yeah.
And then I hope that there are a lot of teens watching, realising, okay. And the whole show is just...
And it does feel electric because, don't get me wrong, I'm all for heterosexual romance. It's great, looks great. I've had some good times there myself.
It's not, no, it's not. It's not. Although it's cracked up to me.
But because of... It's
like
terrible.
literally last night, my husband was building his shed at 5:30 p.m. instead of cooking the dinner and then took himself off to Pilates. So, you're not missing out on much in terms of the heterosexual.
No. We were nestled up watching Barbra Streisand tribute clips, so there's no question which relationship you'd rather be
correct.
in.
Correct. You've won relationship lottery out of... look, the queer community have obviously had a lot more trauma than the straight community, and I'm not, but I'm just saying... Last night, you were watching Barbara and I was dealing with all of my autistic issues with a fucking power drill out front of the window I was trying to lie down in.
Making a shed in the dark.
Yeah. So...
Yeah.
But
and obviously...
I digress.
Yes.
Sorry, I just needed an excuse to take a shot at Scott and I've had my moment, so please continue.
Well, and obviously I'm, gay shame and the legacies of homophobia are all terrible, terrible, terrible. One silver lining, that when you take the risk and kiss someone, it is so electric. Like you can't even, because, it involves so much questioning and there is a certain amount of risk and the show still caught that for me. In fact, all these shows that do this too, there is just nothing like
So the moment
watching
you
it.
first kissed a man, because you've done a lot of women, and then... You did a lot of women. You slept with more women than I've slept with men. Does that comparison? Do you know what I mean? You've had more heterosexual sex than I have with more partners.
You've practically had more. No, that's not true, actually.
Pretty much.
Anyway.
So the moment you kissed a man, take yourself back.
Electric. There weren't actually animated sparkles, but there might as well have been.
Well, and that's what the show does. But did you have that moment of,
this is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
This is what all the songs are about.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you had that.
Because it was fun before that. It was all fun.
When you were kissing the ladies.
And that's why exactly.
It was good. It was nice. It was okay.
Oh,
and you
terrific.
didn't realise there was a level up.
That's right. That's right. There
and
was
then
a
when you patched a
level, there were
bloke-
currents of electricity that I had not tapped into yet. And so it was pretty exciting to suddenly discover that and be like, it was like having a drug.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was wild.
This is so great. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you.
Look, it was a long time ago
We
now,
weren't in
but-
touch when you had your first gay kiss.
That's true.
Yeah. So now I'm
That's true.
getting to do the whole, oh my God, what was it like? Tell me everything.
Yeah, and that is something that happens in this show,
Yes.
all of the response
Yeah.
to it and everything.
So Heartstopper, Netflix, obviously cannot recommend it enough. It is just glorious and you will walk away feeling just reborn and renewed, and watch it with your teenage kids if you can stomach everything. If you've got an open, my kids and I can watch it together, it's fine. But my kids and I watch 365 day and night together. So
That's right.
I don't know if I'm the litmus test, but I highly recommend it. Okay, right. Moving on.
Let's talk about Harry Styles.
We are slowly evolving into a Harry Styles fan podcast,
That's
and I don't think anyone minds.
It's fine. Obviously, weekend tour of Coachella occurred. I was quite unwell over the weekend, and I didn't have enough energy to take it in. I did see that Lizzo took to the stage. There were rumours at some point it was going to be Miley and Lizzo.
Whoa.
If you and I short-circuited over that. But Lizzo appeared on stage. They did I Will Survive, and then That's What Makes You Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was great. I don't know. I just didn't... I wanted more. I don't know if I've built the two of them up to more, but it just felt a bit like two friends singing karaoke.
Yeah, it did a little bit. I mean, which I still absolutely
we loved it.
welcomed.
I mean, it was
and
funny,
I
yeah,
did
of course.
props for her covering a One Direction song. I thought that was a pretty fun and classy move. But yeah, there was something a bit hen's night about I Will Survive. But, I'm not above it.
I wonder why they didn't do one of her songs.
I'm intrigued. I'm surprised that she
Yeah.
agreed to that platform without... Yeah, because
And
Shania
who picked
got...
I Will Survive and why? Because it's not the generation they're playing to. Like, my kids only know that song because I am a gay man. Otherwise, I don't know that they would be really...
But it is one of the most appealing things about him,
Yes.
is that he seems very in contact with all these different eras of
middle-aged
music.
women and what they want.
Exactly.
So obviously, we were talking about I could not be trusted with tickets. It was not to be forward upon me. And then Thursday, just before the tickets went on sale, my PA, a wonderful Gemma, texts me, "Do you want Harry Styles tickets?" And I dropped my phone. I was like, and I said, "Oh yeah, Chella, Odie," and they all come and said, and she's like, "I can get a maximum of 10 tickets." I said, "Take them. I'll take all 10. I'll take all 10. Gemma also booked us parking.
Oh, my God.
I know. So we're behind the mosh pit. I said, I can't be standing. There's to be no moshing.
No, of course.
I can't. There must be a seat. So we're one row behind the mosh, so we'll be able to see him. We're going with a bunch of teenage girls and me and you
Perfect.
and Adrian.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's the ultimate night out.
I was shocked at how much everything got snapped up. And
Yeah.
my Twitter feed was filled with the wailing of
Yeah.
people who hesitated for 15 minutes and didn't get any.
Yeah, I know. So, but don't worry. I mean, obviously, we have a long time to build up to this show, so it's going to be fine. But I know that you introduced
My
your
mother.
Please.
I was just intrigued sociologically to see whether a woman who's close to 80
Yes.
was going to see the appeal. So I was quite rigorous about it.
Okay.
I went back to
Where did you start?
first X Factor audition.
Whoa!
I work in a bakery.
All right, what are you going to sing?
I'll do Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder. Isn't she lovely?
You went back to X Factor?
Yeah, I'm Harry. I work part-time in the bakery. That's where I went
Oh my
to.
God,
Is it Olivia Colman?
Is Harry? Is Harry here?
If only.
Yes, continue. So you took her back there?
Oh, yeah, totally. She was completely charmed from the get-go.
Okay.
The relationship with the mother really ticked a lot of boxes for her.
And is it true? Did you throw up there?
I did throw up there, yeah. I think my mum put that sign up.
She loved the mother. She's been like, oh, the mother is very, very young, as she was very, very young.
Yeah.
What is the situation? The single mother?
Yes, because he kept going on how Shania Twain, it reminded him of listening to Shania with his mum in the car.
Love that. Thought he was very well raised. She could tell that right from the start. She was right on board. Like, there was one X Factor judge that was basically umming and ahhing, and mum was sitting there clutching a gin and tonic going, oh, they're an idiot. And so then we did a little trip through the One Direction era, not too much, because I'm not that au fait with it.
No, that would have been super weird if you had got into One Direction because you were in your 20s at that point.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I landed her hard in Sign of the Times, which she really enjoyed.
Ooh,
yes,
nice
nice soaring melody. And then
Very Beatles-esque. Good.
exactly
good.
right.
Yeah, perfect.
And then we went into the acoustic sort of more of the fine line territory, and she kept on saying, you know what I like about him? What I like about him is he seems so happy to be there. But you know what she didn't like about him? She was betrayed.
What?
The tattoos. Oh, she was.
I'm covered in them.
Well, I don't know.
But she never commented on my tattoo.
She's not a tattoo person. I wouldn't say it's the feature of yours that she loves the most.
Really?
She felt like he was such a beautiful little boy. He was elfin. And then he got covered with those tattoos like a bikie. But, so that knocked her down.
Oh, no, Harry let her down.
But then all he had to do was show kindness to Stevie Nicks.
She's everything you have ever wanted in a lady, in a lover, and in a friend. Stephanie Nicks, I love you. We all do. And that is true, Stevie. Please join me in welcoming to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the second time, Stevie Nicks.
She was back on board. Back on board.
So you went to Stevie Nicks?
Oh, went to Stevie Nicks. Yeah, she
Perfect.
loved that.
Yeah.
She loved the respect that he showed.
Oh, my God.
And then we crescendoed with Shania. And of course she respected that. She did think Shania looked a bit overexcited at some times. And very, very conscious of not tripping on the steps when she's coming down.
Of course.
But
At Shania's age, she don't do a hip.
Oh,
She's already had a tragic life.
I think it was more. I think she seems very, very fit. I think it would be more. She was just very excited, and you do not want to take a tumble with that many cameras on you.
It's true.
But overall, it conclusively proved that his appeal cuts through even to the boomers. In fact, alarmingly so. She was sitting there like in silence for such a time. You'd hear his acoustic strumming and then you'd hear my mum just squish her gin and tonic in the little clinking of the ice as she took in more and more Harry Styles. She didn't want to stop. I would buy an album. I would give it to her.
Really?
Yeah, she was that in.
Should we perhaps find a spare ticket? Because I feel like I might have one. Should we bring Joe to Harry?
Too much. No,
Too
she
much?
won't do it. She
Too
won't do
much.
it. She won't do it. And I said to her at the end, I go, what I love about him is it feels like he's like the human antidote to toxic masculinity. And she was like, yes. And then a pause happened and she goes, what is toxic masculinity? I'm like, you've been living it your whole life.
Our
You know
parents,
it.
I love that. My dad, someone needs to alert Apple. So your mum's been doing Harry Styles. Someone needs to alert Apple that they can shut now because they finally landed the last person on earth who didn't believe in Apple's products. My father got his first iPhone over the weekend. We need to resurrect Steve Jobs and high-five him.
You got there.
Because
You died not knowing what Vince's status was.
he's refused his whole, I'm never buying an Apple. They're crooks. They change their charges. I will
Really?
never. And he's had these terrible iPhones. The brand is called Dodgy and it comes from China. And he imports his phones in. And every time I always get these weird messages from him that I can't understand. Like it's so annoying. Everyone else is on iPhone, and his phone has a mind of its own. And he strips them out. He reconfigures them.
Oh my God,
So
of
he
course he
texts me
does.
and he goes, "I'm texting you from an iPhone." I was like, "What?" Someone needs to call Apple. It's done. We're over. You've got him. You've done it. You've won him. And then I got there this morning to drop Elio off, and he goes, "God, these iPhones, I can make the text bigger."
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I love that he's been importing a knockoff from China as a matter of principle.
As a personal protest to what Apple are doing to everybody. But it's an iPhone.
I'm sure it was deeply felt right to the headquarters. Silicon Valley were quaking in their boots over Vinci.
But it's an iPhone 6
Of course.
that he re-stripped.
Okay.
And he took all the battery out and he's rewired the Apple phone. So it's still got a little bit of flavouring of Vinci in it. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
He's like, I've got my golf app. Look, it tells me how far I've walked. I can tune my guitar. And I'm like, Dad, why is this screen shaking? He goes, I opened it up. I had to make a few modifications.
Oh man, there's no turning back. There's no turning
But
back.
he's got a 6. So, like, what could my dad be doing? Who knows? So both of our parents over the weekend have just really launched into this 2022.
They've hit the 21st century. It's beautiful.
All right, we're going to go away. Obviously, we cannot get through an episode of Emsolation without just briefly touching on the election. That's next.
Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Okay, so campaign 2022, who do you feel's in front at this point in time?
Elbow.
He won the really relatively unwatched debate on Sky News in Queensland, which is wild that he won that.
Unwatched, but also surprising, I would say, just in the sense of, like, when I heard about it's a Sky News debate, I thought, what? I mean, he's just going to go on there and there'll be Peter Credlin and Andrew Bolton, everyone taking potshots at him. But, and it pains me to say this,
It was all fair. And in his
credit
wheelhouse,
it really was
all the
fair.
questions were like they were literally written by Labor's PR department.
Well, it was undecided voters. And so
Yeah.
they're not sitting there grilling them on ideological issues like bullshit
No,
stuff
people
like
wanted to know
about
about
trans women in
Medicare.
sport.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was all bread and butter stuff that actually affects people, and it really played well to him, and he handled it well. He had one little trip up that he corrected, unlike ScoMo.
The boats, what was there something where
He got his stance on the policy wrong at the time,
Yeah.
but then during the debate, he corrected it. And also he just sort of seemed warm, switched
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
how you wanted
Could have
to
been the
seem.
COVID that was coursing through his
That's
veins
right.
at that time.
That's
but
right. Not dissimilar to you, actually,
Yes.
in our live spectacular.
So true. The same thing happened the very next day.
Exactly the same
ScoMo
thing.
had, obviously, I've already made a comment on it when a woman asked him, a mother of an autistic child asked about, the NDIS and how hard it is to navigate. And I am currently navigating the NDIS and it is the Legend of Zelda. Like it literally is, it is so hard and you have to coordinate so many meetings and I'm a neurodiverse person trying to do this. And Elio's just been diagnosed with autism, and when I heard his comments as a mother, as an autistic person who's also a mother of an autistic person, I text you and I just said, this is the first time I think it's broken my kind of impenetrable, fuck off, it's ScoMo, I don't care what he says. Like, it's ScoMo, sure, whatever, mate.
Yeah.
This, because it involved Elio, the glorious, most beautiful Elio, it got me. And him saying...
Jenny and I have been blessed. We've got 2 children that haven't had to go through that. And so for parents with children who are disabled, I can only try and understand.
Now, he's saying that it's been spun and it's lefties trying to put things in his mouth and that's not what he meant.
He did apologise, though.
He did apologise.
He had to do 2 days of apologies.
Yes, but I feel like that's the one thing perhaps that he can't dog whistle his way out of. Like, he's very much trying to appeal to the right. He's given up on the mid-Liberals. He's given up on any centrists in the Liberal Party. He's really going in hard for those people. He's also really campaigning hard in rural areas, in seats that Labor have held in the past, but may have more conservative viewpoints now to Labor. So it's interesting to see. Someone compared it to what Boris Johnson did to get elected. So it's interesting to see if it pays off for him. I don't know. But Albo does appear, but I don't believe opinion polls either. Like, I don't.
No, I know.
I don't know. And interestingly, both of them have said, we will not negotiate with independents.
And I call bullshit on both.
I mean, yeah, you have to. That's like, if it were me, and I said to you before, if I were Albo, I would call a press conference and say, I will negotiate with your mother if it gets me to... Here is my home address. The second the election is over, if it's a come for tea. I'll cook your dinner. We'll have steak. I will negotiate with any person who wants to negotiate with me. Bring it on. I don't understand why they're both dying on this hill.
Well, are they trying to say, because it's so likely that we will end up in a hug parliament, I won't negotiate with them, like I'll form a government with them, but they just have to be okay with my policies. Is that what they're saying?
I don't understand, because the reality is if they both dig their heels in and refuse, we have to go back to the polls.
Yeah, no one wants that.
No one wants that.
I can't believe we're still so many weeks away.
I know. So that's been the wilder thing for me is this we're not going to negotiate with any independents. And there's all the independents are like, okay, fuck it, let's see what happens. Sure, guys. They're all going to be standing there tapping their foot with their arms crossed come election day. And I mean, I still don't know. I still don't know what's going to happen.
Do you think the COVID has helped or hurt Albo or neutral?
Neutral.
I'm actually going to go so far as to say helped because... you can't help but be sympathetic towards someone if they get COVID.
Especially when you've just had it. Like, if he had anything like I had, man.
Yeah, it looks like he seems okay, but of course he seems that way. But also, I must admit, I've liked seeing Penny and Tanya have to come out. Like, they're not afraid to cut someone down on the project.
And I want Penny to debate ScoMo.
That would
it would be so good. I think about that more than I should. I role play that in my mind so much. It would be a glorious thing. I've enjoyed that too. I don't think it's hurt him at all. I think it's been.
There's depth to his team. I'm not like ScoMo has to deal with Dutton going out trying to like sell his wares to support the coalition,
and then the woman from Warringah having to be bundled into parties like she's Taylor Swift in the back of a car with security.
Oh, gosh. Apologies to Taylor Swift.
Apologies. Okay. All right, so I'm still calling hung parliament. Like, I still think it's going to be, and there's going to have to be some serious negotiations, and I don't know. But I feel in terms of, but maybe because I'm in that bubble, Albo's slightly leading, you know?
Yeah.
But,
I think so too. Either way, we'll be drinking a lot and watching it together. And I worry, though, it's weird because we have watched elections go not the way we wanted so many times.
Never forget Abbott.
Yeah,
I
know,
and I,
exactly.
Remember, we had to have gay times, like, because we were so upset.
We were starting the night with fun jokes about which politician relates to which Lion King character, and then by the end of the notes, desperately munching gay times.
But I had called that he was going to win that election.
You had. Nonetheless, and your parents have a lovely lounge room that will forever resonate with the feeling that I felt sitting on that couch, hunched.
Eating a golden gay time.
What location are we going to?
You should come to mine because we're in the forest, so if things go really bad, you and I can go out and be at one with nature.
If it all goes a bit tomorrow when the war began.
Before you go, Elon Musk has bought Twitter.
You just destroyed Twitter.
Curse that Elon Musk.
I'm going to let you lead this because I haven't taken much of it in because I've been in bed. But from what I can gather, in a very teenage girl move.
Well, we're all still speculating as to his motivations, but yes, there are some, let's just say some adolescent impulses.
If one does want to say buy Twitter, how much does one pay?
61.1 billion.
What?
I think that's in Australian dollars. I think it's less than that in American dollars, but yeah. I know, it's wild. And so the first thing to say is that this isn't necessarily a smart business move for him because there's a lot of analysts saying that him taking on that much, it's unlikely that he's going to be seeing profit. So they're not...
Does Twitter operate in profit?
It only has just, but I think the thing with Twitter is that the feeling is potentially that it's sort of hit market maturity, like the notion that Twitter is going to keep growing because all these web services or web companies like everything from Facebook to Twitter and everything like that, it's all about growth. And at a certain time, as Netflix has just seen, you hit a point where you've actually grown as far as you're going to grow.
There's no more people left.
And I think, exactly. And I think people are questioning whether Twitter has had its watershed. So it's a funny old time to come on in with 61.1. But what it gives him is that he takes it over. He has the controlling stake in it.
Do you think he's going to sit at night and Twitter search his name? And just zap anyone
I think he certainly is already doing that. The
level of petty, part of me
extreme.
Respects it. I don't condone it, but I kind of that is wild. Because I did read a little thing where an Instagram influencer said something bad about him online and Elon personally cancelled his Tesla order.
Yeah. It's crazy.
One car.
Yeah.
One Tesla.
Yeah.
He saw it. Found it. I don't even looked up the name, got someone to find that person in the system and refund them their money. Can you imagine?
I know. Well, and also people I've noticed are tweeting about him and they're using instead of using the vowels in the lane, they're using asterisks and stuff so he can't find himself.
Are you joking?
No. And
just imagine him hunched over at night like Monty Burns watching Springfield, just looking for any mention of himself.
I'm going to have Elon Musk killed.
Totally.
And then he's like, fuck it, I'm going to buy it.
Well, right-wing people celebrated because he's been critical of Twitter's censorship, as he puts it. And so they're all assuming, well, he'll let Trump come back on. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know whether that will happen.
Are you telling me Trump's platform, whatever it's called, is a
disaster?
It's not working.
Exactly.
What is it called?
I can't remember.
What's Trump's platform called?
I don't know. But there's all sorts of right-wing things like Parler and everything. But it's interesting. They don't work those things because the point of being right-wing on Twitter is that you can frustrate and attack left-wing people. And if you're just on a platform with nothing but right-wing people, what are you going to do? You're just going to sit there, be friendly?
Boring.
Singing Kumbaya, we hate all non-white people, let's just be happy.
Great racist comment, Barry. Thanks, George. 5 stars. Retweet.
Exactly. You want to piss people off and you can't do it if you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
So there's that indication that maybe he would allow people to go back on and he'd remove some of the restrictions because he said it's all about free speech. But then again, he's also said that he wants to make a move potentially and make it so that you have to be authenticated. You can't just be an egg account, so that would limit the amount of torrents of abuse you could put out there because you'd have to have your name to it. And so it's all very unclear what it's going to mean for Twitter. People are certainly freaking out, myself among them. And also...
What he could have done with that money.
Oh, well, and there was an infamous time, which has been quoted a lot, where he went to the United Nations and said, if you can explain to me how you would use $6 billion to end world hunger, if you can give me a detailed plan, then I might give you that $6 billion. And so the UN... They called his bluff. They went and did
a PowerPoint.
Exactly, detailed plan, submitted it to him, and he declined to approve the plan. So that was $6 billion. Yeah, so 10 times that much. Yes, I know.
No, because he's pissed off. People are being mean to him.
There is so much you could do that. I mean, you could do. Yeah, really.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
It's also a bit freaky because all of these billionaires between Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. And him, it's just freaky how many...
Vengeful white straight nerds.
They are, and they're buying up all our modes of communication.
Yeah.
Bezos has the Washington Post and Zuckerberg obviously has all of Facebook and all of Instagram.
Well, obviously Murdoch, the king of it, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And it just sort of feels like increasingly a very small group of white male former nerd tech billionaires are basically owning all our means of communication.
Yeah.
Which it's not hard to see how that could go wrong.
What do you mean? I feel wonderful about all of that. All right, well, thank you for the Elon Musk update. Oh, and Barbara Streisand turned 80.
She did.
Blessed be the mother.
Blessed be, yeah. Commemorations all around the world.
We love you so much.
The greatest diva.
She looks amazing.
She rocked it in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, teens, whatever we would call the last
2000s,
decade.
21s.
If she can get a number one album in this decade, she will have had a number one album in all of those decades, which is absolutely wild. Plus, she's an Oscar-winning actress. She's an EGOT.
She's an EGOT. I mean, that's what you need to know. What's your, like, if someone had a knife to your throat and you had to say, and they're like, what's your favourite Barbara Streisand? This would be the campus hold up. What's your favourite Barbara Streisand song?
Hi, gay.
Like, what would you say? I mean, our favourite Barbara Streisand, is your favourite Barbara Streisand moment, we got the same one, because you know mine. We talked about it on the weekend.
Yeah.
She's on Oprah.
Yeah.
She's singing a song to her dead dog, Daisy, holding the reincarnated dog she used with Daisy's DNA.
That's right.
Right. The dog's off-white.
Yeah.
The jumper she's wearing is off-white.
Yeah. Side note, but her hair is so immaculately shiny and straightened, you just can't even believe it.
Nails freshly done.
Exactly.
She's sitting on a seat with a large screen behind her with the dead dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Oprah looks at her and says, I own this studio and I've never seen a white mic. And then Barbara responds, it's actually off-white to match my off-white sweater. And then Oprah processes and is like,
okay, so you had the mic sprayed.
and Barbara just says,
That's right.
no apologies. It's incredible. Who goes into Oprah and redecorates? But she did.
Respect.
And also all of that just to
match
make sure.
the dog and the jumper. Like she literally wanted to match her dog.
Yeah.
I mean,
but okay.
favourite song. Okay, gayest hold up of all time. What's your favourite Barbara song?
My favourite Barbara, and this, I'm
And you have to sing it.
surprised at how gay I'm going with this.
Please. You really?
It's
There's another
her
level?
disco duet with Donna Summer, Enough is Enough. So it's, do you
That's
know?
your
It's my favourite. I loved it. As a child, I loved it. I loved how it started. It started sort of soft and ballady. It's raining.
It's a song I sing to Elio in the
pouring.
bath. Yeah.
And then the disco beat comes in and she's like, enough is enough is enough. I
Sing
can't
it.
go on. I can't go on much longer. I loved it. I loved it.
Hi, gay.
That's your favourite one?
I know. I mean, there's tight competition, obviously, but
What's
ultimately,
second?
like you, I love her cover of Happy Days Are Here Again.
Oh.
It's magic.
It's magic. Sing some of that.
Oh, fuck off. Professional singer.
Sing some of that. I've got COVID.
Okay. She's well.
I
It's
don't
all
have COVID.
about.
I don't have
It's all
COVID.
about
Don't
the
have COVID.
beautiful. She's slowed it down and she's made it all almost bluesy and lackadaisical, and it's all very happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. So shut up! I can see she's trying to she's trying to do a relaxed thing.
It's great.
So let's sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. She also duetted it with Judy Garland.
Oh my God, is Barbara here?
That's right.
Did someone get Barbara?
Clear as a
in?
bell. She never had any singing training.
No, never. Famously.
What's her favourite film? Your favourite film of hers?
Funny Girl.
Fair enough.
What's yours?
What's Up, Doc?
Really?
Not even musical, I know. I just think she's hilarious in that film and really hot. She's at peak hotness. Peak hot.
Funny Girl for me is just quintessential. Like, it would feel wrong not to say that, you know? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, we did get more homosexual.
Streisand ticket holding friend of Dorothy, know what I'm saying?
There was another level. All right, that's all from us. We'll chat obviously in a week's time. Who knows what could have happened by then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Emsolation.
Okay, that's it. I'm just going to, I mean, you've noticed, I'm just going to try and make Michael sing as much as I can in every episode. I love it so much. It brings me so much joy because he says, no, I can't. And then all of a sudden he's halfway through a stunning line of a Barbara Streisand song. I want to remind my Adelaide, Sydney, we are sold out. I'm going on tour in May very soon. I'm opening on May 17th to a sold-out show at the QPAC. Brisbane, I'm so excited to see you. Then we head to Sydney's sold-out show at Luna Park. Then we head to Adelaide. You'll notice I'm not saying sold-out show. Now listen to me, Adelaide, and listen well. My daughter has designed a tour T-shirt and the only town on the back of it and I'm making them hold off on printing it because I want the shows to all be sold out with a neat pink line through the date and to say sold out. And I can't do that yet. You're letting Odette down. You're letting a 15-year-old down. That's what I want to say. So get your tickets. There's not that many left. I don't need many of you to get on board. Thebby Theatre, May 27th. Come and see me live. It's been 2.5 years since I've been able to come to you. Who knows how long it will be till the next time. I don't know. I'm very tired. Anyway, come and see me do Live and Unleashed Adelaide. You're the only town left. Everyone else, gold star, sold me out. I love you so much. A sold out show before you get there is just, I can sleep at night, you know? It's good. All right, following us on socials, as always, at Emsolation Podcast on Instagram. Get the newsletter that goes out each week. All our recommendations are there. You can sign up at Instagram. And I think that's all the things you need to do to prove your love to us. Until next week, who the fuck knows what's going to happen by then? I don't know. Maybe my father will have upgraded to an iPhone 7. He's very excited. He figured out that he can get all these apps across and he can enlarge the text. So, God, the sky's the limit for Vince Rossiano now. Have a great week, gang. We'll chat soon. Hopefully the next time you hear me, I'm not sounding like this. I apologise again. It's not a great look, but, you know, well, it's not much I can do. It's not much I can do. Bye, guys.
Emsolation with M. Rossiano is a Spotify exclusive podcast recorded at Down the Hill Studios. Hosted by M. Rossiano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley. Produced by M. Rossiano. Edited by Ezekiel Fenn at Entente Music. With videos by James Henderson. Socials by Marcella Rossiano Barrow. With assistance from Jem Evans and Georgia Watts. Plus, occasional office shelf installs and flat pack wrangling from M's dad Vincey. Get more Emsolation by following us on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. You can also sign up for our weekly newsletter. Join other Emsolators of the Emsolation group on Facebook. The answer is Harry Styles. And please, take the time to share this podcast with a friend and make sure you're following us on the Spotify app by hitting the follow button. Thanks again for taking time out to listen to this week's episode, and we look forward to chatting with you again soon.